as SLAN and myself is concerned, this is very important. The facilitator has introduced me. I am the president of SLAN. The vice president, unfortunately, is indisposed and not common to handle a bit of our time. But whatever, I'm glad the PRO is here, and other ones are coming too. I want to express my happiness that some of us, that there are some of our colleagues in the polytechnic system, teaching in the polytechnic system, who will be joining us. That would be very interesting. And perhaps it's not just coming for the webinar alone. We're all expecting them to join SLAN and be part of the movement, to put Nigeria in good shape. The lecture series, I have always thought of organizing something that will bring us back to nature. Nigeria, from the savannah region to the coastal area, is in very, very, very bad shape. And I think the facilitator, Dr. Tuji, has crafted this very well, covering all aspects of the devastated environment in Nigeria, including abandoned mine area, So what we are trying to see is how do we get ourselves ready for this nature-based solution. And there's no other way other than ecological process. It is the ecological background that will help anybody, everyone, to pursue any kind of restoration project in Nigeria. So this is coming at a very, very, very good time. I told you before, and I hope everybody should listen very well. We will perfect on this subsequently, but however, the diversification we need in landscape architecture is hinged on this. So I will leave the facilitator, Dr. Tunji, to continue, and we all have all the time in the world to ask questions that will explain further. Thank you very much. Dr. Tunji, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my president. And I want to welcome our friends all over, not only because we here in landscape architecture, we believe in multiple practice. We believe in practice without borders. I know many people are joining us from different backgrounds. Architects, I can see some architects joining us, and ecologists will be joining us too. So
urban
planners are here. So we're not one of the people that believe that it should be. So I will share my screen right now with you guys. And can you see the screen? My slide?
Yes.
Yes?
Not yet.
All right. Can you see it? I'm already sharing.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I want to say 3 issues drove this. One was the fact that March last year, the United Nations came up with the idea of declaring this decade as a decade of ecological restoration. That is United Nations. And the decade of ecological restoration is supposed to kickstart 2021 to 2030. And every nation, and we are involved too, is supposed to key there. What do they want? The idea is that every nation should use this decade to make good the 2015 agenda, which is the SDG. At the same time, to look back on 2016 New Urban Agenda. At the same time, to look at quite a number of biodiversity protocols that Nigeria signed. So today in this series, I will spend some 35, 40 minutes to look at this. Then we will now spend the remaining 1 hour to discuss extensively and look at this. This program, when I was talking to the president, has been done in a series. It's like a massive open online course for another agency. But I told the agency, if I must write this one, I must get my constituency to know, and they agree. So this is just the first out of eight of the massive open online courses on Nigerian ecological restoration. In some part of the world, they pay $100 to get the entire thing, but for Nigerian, $100 is a lot of money. Now we're talking about
about 40,000.
40,000. So,
yeah.
So we will not look at that. So we will be looking at as cheap as about 5,000 or 2,000 per episode. When we get there, you will get to know. But the first episode is what I bring to the view of us professionally for us to be to start getting ready for this decade. And other professions are getting ready too. The architects are getting ready. The engineers are getting ready. Ecologists are getting ready. Landscape ecologists are getting ready to look at it. So the aim of this SLAN webinar series 1 is to explore landscape architecture job windows. That is, where are these jobs going to come in the next 10 years? Bearing in mind that we have a sustainable development goal in 2015. And we have this UN ecosystem restoration coming up in 2021 to 2030. By about last week, Global Landscape, an NGO, met in Frankfurt and to review, getting ready for next year. And I know quite a number of biodiversity organizations globally. They are meeting, hoping that they will go back, they will return back to Copenhagen to look at how this thing will be rejigged. Today we are looking, what must we do? Where are we looking? Where will the job get to? Now we are just midway now. We are in 2021. Unfortunately, up until now, most of our SDG has not really been properly addressed in Nigeria. I can tell you that. Sometime in January, I know that Nigerian government hired a South African consultant to review for them. It's interesting, but we are here in Nigeria. They have to do for South African consultant to review for them. That's another story. So let us look at this. What is UN 2021 Decade of Ecosystem Restoration? One, it is geared towards the realization of various sustainable development goals on climate change, on a number of issues. And this goal is to scale on massive restoration of degraded ecosystems. We're not going to spend much time here looking at the challenges, as the case is in Nigeria. Nigeria would like to look at challenges. Solutions, what we want to prefer. It will be looking at how to improve the livelihood of rural people, alleviate poverty at urban and rural scale from national perspective, enhance food security, not only for rural people, even for urban people. Of course, boost water supply, much more improved biodiversity conservation at both urban scale and rural scale. Now, the end point is to enhance the urban ecosystem and rural ecosystem health and resiliency within the city system, especially in this season of both pluvia, and tidal flood. For the 850 kilometers of Nigeria, that is a huge tidal flood that is defining many areas. Our river system is not helping matter. I think Bala will be joining us Bala will be joining us from Jigawa. They have massive flood for some time. So flooding in Nigeria is a record. We were there about 3 weeks ago when we saw herds of cattle being washed away in Kwara because of River Niger. We witnessed them in Kogi. Anambra State, massive. I know this area. Of course, from Patani down to Akasa, massive flooding there. Same thing in Lagos here. So that is what it is. But what benefits do they say this? What would be the benefits? One of the benefits, the benefit is this. I'll just mention two for us to look at that. One, United Nations Environment Program projections that 350 million hectares of degraded lands are restored. You know, if we are able to stick to the restoration program. Two, it's saying a lot of greenhouse gases can be mopped up from the global atmosphere, 13 to 26 gigatons. That's a lot. Three, it's saying there's a global declaration will make a demand on nations, the political weak and scientific research institution to farm up local ecological restoration mechanism. That, for us who are in the university, that is the issue. You don't know how many, I do know that quite a number of biodiversity research groups in Nigeria. So is it time for them to start looking at what the thing will be? Having said this, there are other benefits that we'll look later, but much more is for us to look at what to do next. I'm gonna have to reset this. I'm having a little problem resetting this. Well, so for us, we'll be looking at about 5 of the SDGs to talk on. One is SDG 1. How are we going to do this restoration? How is it going to enhance poverty alleviation? Now, how much of ecological enterprises can be created to give jobs, especially in a nation where poverty is pretty high like us? Now, how do we minimize the ecological footprint of our cities that are eating up high suburban agricultural landscapes? What are the poor ecological things that we can put in there, and how much agri can we do to enhance that? Number 2 is that we believe we can fiddle with is agriculture. Again, food security. Again, climate smart farming. Then how can we make the urban landscape productive too? You know what is beyond aesthetics? Can we introduce that? All right. Now, how do we improve the rural livelihood? Not only on agri, ecologically. Go number 11 is about the city. Talking about green infrastructure and all the things there. How do we reset urban ecosystem? You want to call it urban forestry, you are free. It is then it will be able to mop up the pollution within the city. Then again, number 13 is the real climate action. I mean, of us, we watch the the IFLA, the award, the person who was awarded the Jellicoe Award, what he's doing in China. Today, China has worked massively there. So, critically for us in Nigeria on the issue of climate change is flood management. And the flood is all the four strands of flood management. Fluvial flood, talking about rivers, flooding coming from the river. Pluvial flood, flooding by reason of the of urban environment, the impervious surfaces. Tidal flood. If you are in Lagos here, you experienced the surge recently. And the surge, last week there was a surge during the equinox, 2023, 22, 23 in September, and the new moon. It's much. And of course, that is the issue of other flood that we are seeing. We witnessed the case in Jigawa, I just mentioned. So that is it. Can we use ecological engineering to solve that? Now, how do we go about it? Then goal number 14 is about coastal ecosystem, where we are, some of us who are in the coastal environment. And MOSH is goal number 15. It's these 6 goals I will work on. It does not stop there. Let me say this, because other goals are equally affected. So if we must now look at this, we must look at this from the 7 Nigerian bioregions. The Sahel Savannah, very close to Borno, we know that place. I know around 1930, a lot of massive money was invested in the same Sambisa forest that now become crisis. That is in Sudan. I was in Yola about 4 weeks ago, looking at, we had to look at a way of if we can test run a very simple mechanism, a research going up there, how to allow to both livestock and wildlife to coexist. That is the Guinea savanna. That is the rainforest. That is the freshwater swamp. And that's the mangrove. Of course, I did the fourth one around Mubi, around Obudu, which is the mountain ecosystem. In other words, restoration of whatever thing will follow this, wherever you may be. And all of them cannot use the same philosophy because of the differences, not only in soil and the climatic variables. But again, let us look ourselves, basically, the major 6 or 8 degradation phenomenon that degrades our ecosystem. You want to call it landscape, you are free. The issue of indiscriminate logging is known. Of course, about last year, there was a big documentary done that was viewed all over the world about how the Chinese has invaded northern states in Nigeria, and they have rooted out the entire rosewood. With some Nigerian government official, collaborating. They rooted from all the rosewood is basically between the Guinea savanna. They rooted it out. It's a big scandal. We have a video of it, but it's not even there. Even for us in the rainforest, same thing. True, that is overgrazing. We know it. We have been told that our population is going to be 411 million people by year 2050. The land is not elastic, but our agricultural practices are not helping matter. The question is, how do we feed? If we do not restore the agric land, bring biodiversity to bear in agricultural landscape, then where do we feed? Urbanization is another one. All of us know the effect of urbanization when they get down to ravaging the ecosystem. In 1953, for example, there are only about 56 Nigerian urban centers above 20,000 threshold. Because in Nigeria, once a city is above 20,000, that means a city, human settlement. There were only 56 in 1953. By year 2010, there are 450 towns eating up the landscape. express roads, rail lines, crisscrossing Nigeria, destroying the biodiversity, eating it all. But as the 1946 law and 1956 law expects all engineering firms to replant back the setback of the express road. Not now. Climate change is there. I've just mentioned. I'm not going to wait. That's the issue of pushing. When in the year 2026, 2006, the government of Bauchi was agitating that they want Yankari back. Yes, they got Yankari back. But what is the elephant population now? It's been decimated. Why? Illegal sales of ivory. And Nigeria is a signatory to quite a number about that, but nobody listened to it. There's mining since 1886 in Nigeria. Most of the minings are not decommissioned. And when they are even decommissioned, they were not restored back. You can go back to Plateau State since 2030 and go and take the number of people that drowned. We are the mine chain. We were a living witness about 4 or 5 years ago when 450 villagers died in Zamfara State because they used lead to assist mining. We don't want to talk about crude oil spillage in Niger Delta. It's there. They are still battling to restore back Ogoni. We've not seen it, even though we know that the amount of dollar have been put there. But I overheard that they are even going to go for they are shopping outside Nigeria now to look for people that we do the bioremediation when the Nigerians here. So, of course, I see reliance on fuel wood. So those are the basic issues in Nigeria that we must look at. But how do we look at this one if we do not know the ecological goods and services? That's the issue. If you do not understand that is ecosystem, it has its own goods. And there are human systems, they have their own needs too. And there's an interface of both human and ecosystem. Let's look at 4. There are provision services. Food production within the ecosystem. Good water, wood, and fuel. That is supporting services. If we want ecotourism to be a source of money, then you must protect the habitat. The soil must be restored too. There are regulating services. Nobody is cheaper to go with ecological engineering, which is soft engineering, using vegetation to break the flooding. I'll give you an example. Before 1996, before the Lower Ogun forest was removed in 1996 by the then governor Olagusoye Oyinlola to accommodate what they call LSDPC. The flooding at Isheri was minimal, but the moment 2,000 hectares was removed in 1996 to accommodate LSDPC, go back to Korodu now, you will see flooding there. I have been told that within the next few weeks, they will remove the Onyan Dam in Ogun State. That is Ogun River Basin. That means the flooding problem will continue here in Lagos. So, there's water purification there. Those are services. There are cultural services. Culturally, there's issue of the spiritual thing. It's not only about African religion himself alone. There are other people, other nations, other religions to include Christianity. That is the aesthetics that come from the ecosystem. Education is there and recreation too. See, all these 4 you must know for us to know what to do. So until we sit down to understand that the ecosystem has some inherent goods and services that man needs to be a man, that any nation needs to be a nation. So in other words, It's a fight of two systems. There is the ecological system on one side, the hydrological system, rivers, streams, canal in the city. There is the biotic structure, the flora, the fauna. That is functional energy system. And there's the chemical process. We all know this from simple O-level biology. But our human systems, that is a human religious system, whether it is African religious system or Christianity or Islamic religion, that is that the urban system, man lives in a congregation, and there's a genetic issue, and there's medicinal. So human system must be knitted properly with the ecosystem to have a healthy ecosystem, but it's not so. If that is not so, then there's a need on how it can be restored. Then what is ecological restoration? I'll just run over it. It's a simple restoration of the ecological system, fundamental processes which makes the ecosystem to work. The hydrological process, it makes it to work. The geomorphic process. Ecosystem restoration is therefore restoration of its basic functional and process that support the biotic community, including you and me. That is, there is a need to remodel the physical aspect of the habitat. We call it site grading to what it is originally. There's a need to remodel the chemical aspect of the habitat, because for example, when you use lead to mine in Ebonyi State, you are using lead to mine zinc in Ebonyi State, and the water is polluted. And there are a lot of issues currently with Ebonyi State with the effect on the local community. Down syndrome is said, nobody is saying anything. We are living witness to, I told you, Zamfara State there, where they're using lead. Go to Osun State, they're using lead illegally to mine. It is not about planting trees alone. The chemical aspect must be remodeled, changed. Much more, there's a need to replace the missing species, the local one. We cannot, for long, forestry in Nigeria have relied too much on exotics. They say they are doing forestry plantation. They are planting teak. Teak is not a native to Nigeria. Melina. Whereas Iroko is there. Nobody is making an attempt to do anything about it. So we are replacing the missing species. So ecological restoration, there is a comprehension of how ecological systems work and returning it back to what it is. Why local agenda? As I told you, Nigeria and other nations were signatory to 2050 Sustainable Development Goals. 2030 is the end point. We signed 2016 New Urban Agenda. We have national and global climate change treaties. We are involved with the biodiversity agenda. And we have been told that will be 411 million people by 2050. The land is not elastic. Same land that supported 93 million some 30 years, 45 or so years ago, is the same land that is supporting 200 million now. And the same land that will support 411 million people. How? It's not elastic. If we deliberately will not be a beggar nation. Because when you open the television, what you see is African nation begging for food. I do know that FAO is saying that the problem we have in Nigeria is not the problem of lack of food, the problem of not storing properly. But whatever it is, the local agenda is to manage our ecosystem to the intent is able to provide for us even if you are 411 million by 2050. But at the rate that they are going, if nothing is done, both at urban scale and rural scale, then we might have to depend upon other nations for food. And that's terrible. For some of us who are in academics, and for us who are in practice, if we do not know this triangle, we will not be able to restore anything. We must understand basic restoration ecology theoretical framework that flows there. Often, I do know that some of us who are in design profession, we tilt towards biocentrism, biocentric design philosophy. In other words, saying that man is just part of the ecosystem. That if we must go back, man should not arrogate a power to himself. He should just see himself as part of a species. In other words, the urban area is just a human-made ecosystem where one species, Homo sapien, dominates. And if it's dominating, it should give chance for other species to be with him. Then there is the issue of social system. That is, we must be able to come with policies and legislations, not only at federal level, at state level, at local government level. Currently, we don't have city governors. January 1st, 1914, the city governor was removed and the power was given to the Queen. The Obas do not have power anymore. The Obi has no power anymore. So was Odiena. Until now, our National Assembly has not deemed it fit to return it. Nigeria is one of the very few countries in the world that have no city governors. So we can't be talking biodiversity restoration on city scale because the governor of a state is the one that manages. How can it be so? How can you be the governor? For example, Governor Sanwo-Olu's my governor in Lagos, they stay at Alausa. He's the one that is managing Ekpe. He's the one that is managing Badagry. Because the Oba of Badagry or Bagbe, they have been stunted. It's same thing in all state capitals. If Anambra State is there at Oka, and he's telling me that he could be the one that will manage Onisha or managing other towns there, but that's the way it is now, and it can only be restored via a political machinery, which is National Assembly National Assembly and both upper and lower house. That one has not happened. The other one that there must be a restoration toolbox. So I will leave this one. So there's a demand for nature conscious process. And this process must accommodate community participation. In other words, it is not somebody we stayed in Ministry of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture at Abuja under forestry. And you now say they are dispersing money from Abuja to go and manage green wall at Sokoto. Does it make any sense? Or you want to plant Tonya farming in Ondo State, but the fund is coming through federal, and the federal is managing the forestry by Owo or by Ore. Does see? Or you want to restore the ecosystem of the coastal ecosystem at Finima in River State, but the manager sits at Abuja, or he sits at even Port Harcourt, but the Finima is the town. It's part of the team. There must be some level of policy. How do we get these policies to scale down from federal, state, local government, accommodating NGOs? So there are 5 specific issues that we must put our energy on. One is deforestation. And I love them together. 3 is desertification. Of course, the issue of the green wall is we know the issue of green wall. That's urbanization. That is sea level rise. That's mining. These are region specific. So if that is the case, from this one, we can now have about 6 broad categories of the an ecosystem that should be restored. But there are other ones under them. One, that is the urban landscape restoration. And that one is in 4 levels. That is the urban nature restoration, or what we call urban forestry. That is the open spaces restoration. That is urban river linear restoration. The tertiary drainage channels. All right. In Lagos, they call them systems now. System 1, 2, 3. For example, there's Kaduna there, Kaduna River there. Must be restored. Restored for climate change, restored for food security. That's ecotourism. And there's one of them that's been promoted now. The promotion started about 2011 by International Union for Nature Conservation. It's called Sacred Landscapes. That is, we got to a point in which we must understand how did the local people, before the advent of colonialism, how did they restore their forest? They are called a sacred landscape of sacred ecosystem. My friend at Ebonyi, when I was there, he said that, am I talking about evil forest? I told him that nothing like an evil forest. If you think those people, the local people are not being like, you are joking. Nothing like an evil forest. Those are the forests. Every city in Nigeria have these patches. 1 acre, 1 hectare, 2 hectares. For us, Ocean Grove is there. At Oshogbo there. But Ocean Grove is not the first heritage area that UNESCO have. The first one is in Adamawa there, Suku they call him. Now, those are sacred landscapes. They may not be more than about 2, 3, 5, 10 hectares. But can you imagine if a town has 2, 3, 4 of them and they are restored, total them together, how much biodiversity that we contributed? It has been done, ironically, in the West, it's being promoted now, and they are even telling us to promote it. Amazing. But we say we are so religious, we are Muslims, and we are Christians. We say the people that that they are worshiping idol. This is not about faith. The ecosystem do not respect faith. It's the same river where you go for picnic. That's the same river where they do Olokun festival.
In the first.
It's the same river where they go to fish. So an ecosystem do not respect faith. Ecosystem do not respect administrative boundary. Either the water from Benue River is open at Lagdo Dam in Cameroon. It passed through Adamawa State. We call it Upper Benue. He doesn't care. It moved down to Benue State. It flowed there. It flowed in Lua. It moved down to Lokoja there at the convergence. So an ecosystem do not respect political boundary. And that's why I say, you and me, we have no business getting ourselves hooked up that you are from here, you are from here, you are a Christian, you are not Christian. Landscape architecture is a service to humanity, irrespective of your belief system, of your administrative or political. So also it's ecology. So there's the agric land restoration. Talking about climate smart agriculture. The era of rain-fed agriculture cannot feed us anymore. Rain-fed agric will not feed 411 million people by 2050. We must sit down and now looking at how can we get climate smart agriculture based upon drone. How do we do it? But there's a conflict landscape. It is not about somebody staying in National Assembly say they are looking for water, what do they call that bill? No, it won't go. There must be other ways in which there will be midpoints. How do we solve the conflict landscapes? A landscape that's conflict, this is my farm, this is your heart, you are jamming it. We just have to sit down and think and look for a way of step. Many tourists are coming in that area. I told you, I was in Yola on the platform of one research outfit. to look at what they call eco-agriculture. So there's the river restoration, wetland restoration. Of course, there's shoreline stabilization. Go to Lekki here, for us in Lagos, you will see the amount of thing that is gone. We don't have to mention the issue of mine. So let us take them one by one now. See, I will just introduce them because the other MOCs take them one by one. Here we have SDG number 15. It says protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem. 15.1 said, listen to me, by 2020, we are in 2020. Ensure the conservation and restoration. Have we done it in Nigeria? No, we have not done it. It said, ensure the conservation, restoration, and sustainable use of terrestrial and inland freshwater ecosystem and their services, in particular forests, wetlands, mountains, and drylands. We've not. If you see my cursor, here is mangrove. There are people in the mangrove belt. My cursor is dealing with the rainforest. This is at Ibadan. This one, it will happen as Sudan Savannah. We just have to deliberately look at if we do not bring this species back to increase the biodiversity, hunger is looming. I'm going to rush right now. If you hear the amount they say they will spend on the Great Green Wall, you will say, it's about shelter bed system, sustainably managed forest, compound the desertification and hold reverse land degradation of desert. Where is it? All these pictures are not from Nigeria. I was looking for a Nigerian picture. I don't see you. This one here is by this guy called Chris Macmillan. This is Senegal for Sahel. The middle is Burkina Faso. This is Niger Republic. But we have our own. All we are struggling is to go and get oil money without doing anything. 411 million people by 2050. And the desert is coming in. And all this thing must be done on community basis. Here is the issue of forest, sacred forest restoration. If you see my cursor, that is Suko cultural landscape, the first UNESCO cultural approved in Nigeria. Boko Haram went here, they blasted part of this cultural thing off. Nobody's restoring anything back. I was in Adamawa State the other time. I was looking at, okay, let me go and visit this place one thing, but I could not make it, but I will make it back one day. Here is Osun Group. They are doing their best. For your information, not from federal. For your information, not from state. From the town and some NGOs. This is Delta State. This is the Edo State, Shomorika, Sacred Hills. And here is Abo Mbise, where my president is from Imo State. Is calling them evil forest. Whether now you make them evil, I don't know. Some of you to look for money to get the local people, get them some job. That is the problem we have. See, I put this one there. Let us rush. So give us time to. This project is about sacred forest. You'll be shocked. This project was done by the Critical Lab at Harvard Graduate School of Design. Landscape architecture. That we did it in Oyo State. Studying. What do we do if our people are saying they are now more Pope, more Catholic than the Pope, that they are now born again Christian? I'm born again Christian myself. Or they are now Muslim than Mecca. As a result, all this sacred must be bulldozed. But in the West, They are there. We are in Jerusalem. We were in Masada. We saw it there. And that was what it there. We are now saying, okay, we will not call it sacred forest anymore. We will now call it spiritscape, spiritual landscapes, meant for everybody. Maybe that one we remove that. Well, it's an idol here, is here. We have this, and nearly all villages in Nigeria has this. So this is some similar of this. We did the virgin dance. We did the maiden dance, age grade dance there. When we are doing a yam festival, before we pass through it to come home. Maybe so. We had to get away and look at what do we do. So here is the issue of mining. This is Nasarawa State. The crisis in Zamfara is not the crisis of hardware, it's the crisis of money. Gold. This is it. You see my cursor, Niger Delta. This is airborne, pathetic. Lead is dangerous. You can go there, all right? All these things they are mined, they are abandoning. Somebody must restore them. From Ife, Ile-Ife, Ilesha to Ijero, to Tantalite in Katsina. I am not going to mention anymore about about Columbite and tin in Jos. We have been told that the federal government, Ministry of the Mines are making move, but these are the biodiversity that must be restored. But and based upon what we sign. This is a typical example. Here is in USA. They mine, they left this. But when they go, they restore it to here, it become a community recreation center. Do you see here? Not our own. Our own is after mining, they leave it to kill our people. Children are drowning because they are swimming. They never knew of all the you can, on your way to Ibadan there, you will see it. All the what do they call it? All the granite they mine, they leave the water there. Poor villagers go to swim. They never know they use some chemicals there and they are dead. Here is Turkey. They mine this. On the right, they turn it to, look at what they turn it to, the plantation. With this one, animal will start coming back. Here is our Greek. We start using, first of all, 3-year fallow period. I think these days, they use 7-year fallow period now. No, we start with 7-year fallow period. Now, 3-year fallow period. Population is increasing. We will cultivate the same land last year. We want to cultivate this year again. Using the same slash and burn. Can't work. There must be agricultural land restoration. If we must end poverty, SDG 1. If we must end hunger, SDG 2. Achieve food security. In other words, we must find a way of bringing the biodiversity and farming to work together, conserving the species. If not, most of our endangered species will be gone. And we are saying by 2030, we must double agricultural productivity and other things there. And nothing has been done so far. That is the purpose of 2021. Well, here is agroforestry. I must comment that a lot of efforts have taken place here. Again, it's about SDG 2 from forestry perspective. I know that Tonya farming has been around for long. This research is in Edo State. If you can see you can see my cursor. They are working hard. Can you unmute yourself, please, as you are coming in? Unmute yourself so that we will not disturb other people. Sorry, mute yourself. Sorry, not unmute. When it's time to question, you can come in. All right. So, our Greek land too has to be restored. Nigeria was represented about 2 weeks, about 3 weeks before the crisis here in New York in a very mini meeting. And by March, when this thing happened, when we all meet, humanity meets in Copenhagen, all this will be on the front burner. But this is the time for you and me to start thinking, how do we get here? Who will restore it for us? If you don't think about you as a consultant, as an NGO, as a research person, our government like awarding contract. They will go to Syria to go and bring Syria and Lebanese who are in dry condition to come and be restoring rainforest in Ogun State. It's contract so that they can pay the money back during lower Hajj, lesser Hajj in Dubai. They will do it. They can go to Phoenix, Arizona. Somebody to be talking climate change in Lagos. That's why we're here. We have to start thinking, letting people know we can do it. If you don't tell them you can do it, then the contract happy senior civil servants will go anywhere. They will go to South Africa. They will go anywhere to go and bring other people in. And then they now come and hire you to do it for them. Now, coastal, wetland, floodplain restoration against climate impact. Goal number 14. Conserve and sustainably use ocean. That's SDG number 14. We say by the year 2020, nothing has happened now. That is 14.2. 14.1 is still possible, 2025. And 14.5, we want to conserve at least 10% of our coastal and marine areas. Nigeria has 850 coastline minus riverine, minus creeks. We open our eyes. Hadija River, it didn't start today. Some people were talking, I was looking at them. I was at Dagona some years back, 15 years ago. We knew Hadija River will flood. Question is, what have we done? And allow villagers to be swept anyhow. Here is our coastline. This is Finima Beach. I took the picture. This one don't say that them say no, according to fella. This is Lekki Aja. It's gone. I did not put the picture of Ayetoro. Devastated. From the Sand Lagoon coastline in the west, which is Lagos, to transgressive mud in Ondo State, to Niger Delta, 5 to 6 kilometers, to even the little strands in Calabar. Surges are raging. They are raging. We must get back the coastline. I was talking some years back that my friends saying that if nothing is done, only one big surge in an island about 400 kilometers in the continental in the Atlantic Ocean, a single surge of about 1 meter, Lagos Island is good night to be leveled. Akbe will be gone. Port Harcourt will be gone. Somebody was saying it's not possible. Says who? They have forgotten that we have Cameroon Mountain with the range, with a tectonic plate that lacerate. So about 2 years ago, there was some land tremor at Abuja. People are saying it is the devil that is worrying our senators because they steal money. That's why they have a land tremor. It's not true. He says because of the sins of the politicians. That's why there's land tremor at Abuja. It's not true. We have crisis. It must be restored. Here is our rivers. If you've been to Kaduna before, this is Kaduna. Nothing is doing nothing. And we have nothing less than rivers and streams and tributaries, nothing less than about 850, all polluted, all degraded. Of course, there must be flooding. You want to go and build house where a crab is having his a party. Of course, you will have problem. Here is Niger Delta. Sorry, here is the River Niger and Lokoja. Here is Makurdi. All of this river landscape is a deliberate attempt to improve land and water health through maintenance and restoration of wetland, upland, and riparian areas. That is the meaning of what is coming up. It's coming up by 2021 to 2030. Not that it's new. It's saying, UN is saying, can we use biodiversity to achieve 2015 and 2016 goals? Yes, we can. I will rush right now. Somebody is telling me, well, I will play one video now, but I will leave it about what Abuja looked like in 1979. What the Guinea Savannah looked like, I have it because of time. When Abuja was there, you'll be shocked. The same Abuja that is now flooded now, it did not flood then. Because a very simple planning and design philosophy. I will show you. Goal number 11, he said we should strengthen efforts to protect and safeguard world cultural and natural heritage. He said we should provide safe, inclusive, and accessible green and public infrastructure. It's about green infrastructure. I said we should change the language if we want our government to intervene to bring in the urban ecosystem back. We should be using the word green infrastructure because that is gray infrastructure. There's blue infrastructure, water. Maybe if they hear green infrastructure and they want to put money there, because they put money in green infrastructure road, because there will be money for somebody. Why can't we be using the word green infrastructure too now? Let them do it before all of us start getting hungry by the year 411. And here is New Urban Agenda Communique number 67. We commit Nigeria sign. I knew the minister for works and housing was here at Ecuador. It was there at Ecuador. He said, we commit to protect and creation of maintain a well-connected and well-distributed network of open, multipurpose, safe, inclusive, accessible, green, and quality public spaces in cities. Where is it? Minus Abuja, that is about 50–60% vegetated. I don't know any city in Nigeria vegetated. So there's a need for urban landscape restoration. This is where I was talking about. I have the video. This is Guinea Savannah, Abuja in 1979. This building here, if you can see my cursor, this is Sheraton Hotel being built. The architect is Tari Coker. I work in Tari Coker. I know it as a consultant, as a young man. At that time, Hilton is being built in 1982. This is Hilton. This picture was taken from the roof of Sheraton here, looking down here. But this is the original Guinea Savannah biodiversity. Today, this is Sheraton. Today, this is Abuja skyline. Today, this is flooding at Abuja. Are we not ashamed? Why? They remove everything here, do not respect the river system that was in Guinea Savannah, do not even respect the Gwari essence. The Gwari people here, they know how to live here. They know how to live, how they have been living here. We build everything. Today, this is Abuja. You can go online, you will see Yafu flooding at Abuja. Whereas here it didn't flood. Nation has a way of taking care of itself. I have this video, but because of time, I cannot play it. So, for us in the city, we should be using the term green infrastructure because infrastructure is the one that attracts senior civil servants and our politicians. But here there will be money once they hear infrastructure. So which are hubs and park system. Under them, this is what we need in our city to get our cities vegetated. I'm going to rush right now to allow questions to come. But today, this is Nigerian urban landscape. This is Abuja, Yanya, refuse dump. Okay. Here is another one, Abuja. Okay. Here we have Magodo in Lagos. This is Otoke, our former president. The house is not far from here. This is Port Harcourt. My friends in Port Harcourt are looking at me. They call it Garden City. It's now Rubbish City. Here is Ibadan. Annually, it claimed life. I think only one person died this year. This is 1 year. People have not died at Ibadan. And it's all over Nigerian cities. These things must be restored. That is what the guy that won Jellicoe Award is saying. And I say you should go and watch it. Watch the video for us to know. You and me will have a big, either you are operating on urban scale, river scale, regional scale, agri scale, forestry scale, coastal scale. We need to wake up and ask ourselves, what can I do? Can I go to my local government and say, I can do this? Or what can we do? We should be thinking now. Because if we do not think, our contract happy politicians will go and bring Eskimo to restore, that live in ice, to restore Adamawa or to restore our landscape in Ondo State. It's an Eskimo, they don't care. So far is white skin. But we must think. But look at the same urban restoration. Look at this community. They turned the house into a linear park. This is the one that the guy did. This river was not this blue. I'm talking about the current, the Chinese that won the award that I sent the video for you to watch. It is a decision to shape developmental control sharp practices to deter developers from just entering. That is a simple thing. I know Nigeria by 1946 town accounting law, by 1959, by 1992 urban and regional planning law says you cannot build 150 meters from the first row of coconut. The law is there. For every river, you cannot build 70 meters from the edge of the river. For every stream, 20 meters. For every canal, 15. Why? To give the vegetation. But that is not been done. We are saying we have no places in the city to do parks, but we have canals. We have rivers. We can claim the setback, vegetate it, put in urban farming, put in bikeway, make it good. You must go and tell them that hope is not lost. We can still make Nigerians great. That is it. In other words, we just have to end developmental SARS. End developmental SARS. So these are the implementation tips. Because some of us, we will go and change job under policy, to write policy. They hire people to write policy. Though you must know these things. You must adopt collaborative approach that accommodates planning in democracy. That is participation of all stakeholders. You must comprehend existing laws that are doing, how the law will be changed. You must visit and redefine existing policies that are relevant to ecological restoration. You must repackage it. Because some of us, not all of us will design, not all of us will plan, some of us will be in advocacy, some of us will be writing policy, some of us will be in environmental education. But you must know where you pitch your tent. If that is the case, then you must know who the stakeholders are. One is the Office of the President on Sustainable Development Goals. And now they have moved them now to another ministry. I don't know. I'll find out. There are other ministries there, ministries of agriculture, environment, forestry, and other things. That is the state equivalent. No city has anything now. City, the way that the colonial masters started cities, 60 years after independence, we don't have city governors. We don't. But the relevant government agencies depend on which of this one that will be there. Much more, that is universities and research and relevant research institutions. We're here. That's why we are writing this MOCC for a body. I'm just shining because we are the same. It's massive online. I know many of you pay $100 for 2 weeks course. But the agency that I wrote this thing for, I've told you, I can get it as low as 5,000 if you say you are a student. As a student, I can get as low as 3,000. For if you say you can, I've told them that they cannot. There's no way Nigeria will pay 47,000 naira because that is $100. There's no money. But you must get this one to know in various areas. Much more, that is NGO. Some of us are going to run NGO. All right. So these are some of the existing policies that must be influenced. For some of you who will be looking for, who will be looking for consultancy in policy, we must be looking at policy on environment. That is the policy on drought and desertification policy. Is it still good? Do we redefine it? And they have these policies. We have currently we have almost about 35 policies. Are they good? How do we rejig them? Some of you must look at that. But the focal point is this. There is the oil spill recovery plan. If we have it, if we have that policy, how come Ogoni has not been restored up till now? Do they accommodate the people? But you and me, we are trained to accommodate the participation. Saying that it's not about contractors, it's about the people. Years back, I was contacted on an erosion site, very close to, it's in Imo State. And I asked the engineer that got the consultants from Abuja, I said, is it only about culvert? People has been living in this plain for 500, 600 years without erosion. You people call development now, so you don't want to invite them. You just want to lacerate their land with a culvert. They say, well, that's what they want at Abuja. So, and I said, well, it doesn't go that way. So I jumped in my night bus from Owerri back to Lagos. When you are ready, call me. Today, the erosion is still there. Same thing here. The policy has to be redefined. And that's what some of you will be doing. What is the focal point? You must accommodate community participation in all policies. We have some of the laws that I just brought out these few laws. When I was looking at some of this one, I realized we have almost about 75 more, but the laws are there. It's just that we do not use them. These laws have to be changed, have to be redefined. If you say you want to go into policy writing, you must know the law and which aspect. I've seen some architects there, landscape architects, urban planners, and some of you are there. Some people who came from Canada, Roberta is from Canada. This guy is from Malaysia, I can see you. Gidado is from Malaysia, so that's one. So this guy from Kenya. I do not know how this one get to Kenya. We thought this one is for small people in Nigeria, but it's nice seeing all of you. So what I'm saying is this. We just have to get ready in practice, in theory, in the university. Because as you are fending for yourself, you are rescuing Nigerian landscape. And that is policies. You must redefine the policy. Policies on the establishment of parks and recreation agencies, minus Lagos State now that have last park. The former East Central State have, but when they split, it went off. Our friend Owasumba was the one that wrote the one in Imo State. But I was at Imo State last year. I was not happy. That's where my president is from. She said now they're going to eat gongo under trees, not under park. You go see. There are parks there. The template is there. I can tell you. He did it in 1975. Policies of community participation, policies of synchronized sports and recreation development, policies of street specification of native plant trees. There are trees here. Street trees is not just about planting any eucalyptus. Every nation have a tree that is an emblem. If you get to Canada, you see maple, all the 5 varieties of maple. Roberta is here. She can bear me witness from British Columbia. Nobody chooses street trees anyhow. It's about the people. The trees must have a meaning for the people, not our own. We go and plant teak from Burma, now Miami. We plant eucalyptus from Australia. Our own tree no good again. Nothing we have that is good. We must revisit that. Policies on rivers, waterfront setback. There are many policies in different areas. Policies on mining, policies. In conclusion, I want to remind us that the National Forestry goal is to put under protection 20% of the nation's land area. 20%, 25%, sorry, it's not 20%. At independence, we have about 12%. As of 2018, what is left is 6%. Somebody says it's not even up to 6%. One of mine who is in federal forestry, that in truth it should be about 30%. If we do not restore the biodiversity and ecosystem, there's no way we can get the 20%. It's not about planting. It's about knowing where to plant, when to plant, how to plant, who to plant for. We are planting for the next generation, 2050 generation. And we're here today. We know there is open space, death of open space in our cities. And that's why we are crying, saying that since Okosha left, we have not had a creative midfielder. Every nation have an open spaces on neighborhood basis. You cannot separate from sports development. You see the boys who are playing football under the bridge to escape poverty. Did you build park for them? Did you build park for them or open spaces for them? You are telling me you've not gotten Okosha, another Okosha. Did you give them infrastructure? I keep on saying, if Serena Williams, if the mother has claimed that she's a Lagosian, she will never have amounted to anything, because the mother and father, they claim that they're Americans. Today they are not one. How many tennis courts do we have? Is it people that cannot eat that will go and buy tennis racket? You see now they are breaking where they keep right for COVID-19. What we are supposed to eat, they kept it there. Do you have a policy? I don't want to talk politics. I don't want to talk politics here now. We must get ready. And as I said, after this, we have 8 of these MOCs in different areas in detail, how to go about it. So that is where I will stop. Then I will stop now and I will ask, we are now in discussion. Please ask, this is time to talk. Oh. Don't worry. I keep on saying, ask anything you want to ask. The one I cannot answer, any of you that can answer it, they're there. If I cannot answer it today, I will tell you, I better wait. I will go study, make an answer it tomorrow. We are passed through the era. If not, you go and consult the Oracle. You know the Oracle, Google is the Oracle. Google. Afa or Ifa is our intellectual Oracle. Go and consult. And I expect everybody here to go and consult the Oracle. What he said, is it true? Is it telling lies? How do I fit in? How did they fit in India and Malaysia? Gidado, I can see Gidado. Gidado is from Malaysia. So they will tell you. All right. So now, I want to, we have about 1 hour left. We want to talk. All right. We want to talk now. So if you know you have question, all right. If you ask question, just raise your hand. All right. If you have comment, either comment or question, let us look at it. Wave your hand, and I'll tell you to unmute. Then we will. Here, I have some. I have some comment. Let's start from this comment. This one is from Tobiloba Akibo. To everyone. Oh, he said, oh, he was talking. I said, yes, we can change Nigerian. We can change Nigerian. Yes, we can. Yes, I agree with you, sister. We can. This one is from. This one is from Additional John Adekule. You can type your question if you don't want to ask. He said, what are the legislative policies against illegal logging and mining in Lagos and in Nigeria? Which ministry oversees all this? Asked. Fantastic. I can tell you that are about 4 major forest policies. If you go online, it's there. If not, contact free at Ibadan or contact Federal Department of Forestry at Abuja. Or you go over there, you can buy them. No, they're still there. I will ask the question. But you can go online, just type Nigerian policies, or just contact, let me give you one NGO. I know them, they are very good. And I know the MD. Contact Nigerian Conservation Foundation. They will let you know about those policies. But the policies, for me, that is my own opinion. The policies center too much about extractive forestry. I call it consuming forestry. All they want is to remove the log, kill the animal. It is not about conservation forestry. That is my personal opinion. It's not a policy that says we want to reserve, protect this forest for the next generation. It's the policy in which we want to extract all the wood, extract all the herbal plants to go and sell, and let every other thing die. That is the policy that gave the Chinese the opportunity to ravage Guinea savanna, Sudan savanna, Sahel savanna, looking for rosewood within a period of 8-9 years. Go online, go and type it, you will see there. No, it's there for you to look at. So, but the current policy that I'm advocating is a conservation policy, a policy that is saying it's not about eating, it's about for the next generation. Another question, can we push a bill on sustainable landscape restoration through a National Assembly while we continue our academic research on further restoration strategy? Of course, yes. I must appreciate, of course, as a landscape architect, I hope you know you rely upon biodiversity experts to live. They generate this. I know that as an office in the Federal Ministry of Environment, and I know quite a number of professors of biodiversity who are working very hard. All right. I buy their book. I know there's a biodiversity center. I read because you need those guys and especially those people in landscape ecology to think, to meet the needs of the people. So if you have questions now, wave your hand and let us answer. We've just answered 2. Anybody who wants a question? Or if it's a comment, let's look. Anybody? You can unmute yourself. Okay. Joseph Olusheyi, you can unmute yourself. Let's see your face. Ask your question now. Joseph Olusheyi, yes?
Okay. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the lecture, sir. I just want to ask a brief question. How can we as landscape architects bring about the change in acceptance within this political how will I say now? Will I say political crisis in this nation? How can we bring about acceptance of the profession? Well, and
Uh,
also another question also is
yes. What happened? Oh, it's network. Okay. I will answer one question. It's asking, is that's why is that how do we? It's talking about in this era of political thing. How can you bring the government from accepting the profession of landscape architecture? I will answer. Then I will allow Mr. President to answer the remaining. I will say the federal government is aware of this is 1969 law. And I want to say here, you are back?
yes.
Okay, complete your question, Shay. Unmute yourself and complete your question. Shay,
I'm back,
unmute.
sir. Sorry, it was a network.
Yeah, go
It was a
ahead.
network. Okay. So the second question, I don't know if you heard the first question, sir. I was like,
I have.
how can we escape? Okay, okay. All right, sir. And then the second one, you were talking about chemical remodeling during mining.
Yes.
During gold mining, they
Yeah.
use mercury to extract the gold and
Yeah.
then use it to cause pollution within it. Is it that as landscape architects we can what's it called now? We can play the role of remodeling the chemical usage during the mining stage,
Okay.
or I don't know how we can mitigate that measure. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
good. I will allow the president to
That's
ask the
all,
first
sir.
question, then I will answer the second one. Mr. President, answer. He said, how do you get government to accept landscape architecture in this political era?
Well, it's not going to be that easy. Um, but the most important thing is to be visionary. That is to make ourselves seen by the government and the people. Um, we have tried, you know it, Dr. Tunji, when you were the president, we are visiting ministries and all that. And particularly at the time we hosted the International Symposium, which was the best thing that could happen to Nigeria. You know, it was organized in a fantastic way by landscape architects. We got that elevation at that period. What it means is that um, we are still very few. The way I have been thinking lately, we are still very few. We need to produce more landscape architects. The more landscape architects we produce in all the regions, the more impact we will make, the more exposure we will make. Um, we are also trying our best to market ourselves through the bill, the SLAN bill, which has been difficult, but we will keep going on because South Africa didn't get their own under 30 years. Many other countries are still trying, but we are making headway, pushing on, through contacts uh, for the stakeholders, the different stakeholders, ministries and stuff like that, to know that we have a profession of this nature. And what is going on today, matter of fact, is one of the things that must be done regularly, but then get to the wider group, not just for landscape architects to participate, other professions, and then bringing in the powers that be, chairman of the different committees in the House of Assembly. I tell you, even at the local constituencies, state constituencies, they don't know that something like landscape architecture exists. And so what we are trying to do now, that we get to the different chapters, is forming working groups in all the chapters that will be going to the local assemblies, state assemblies, government ministries and stuff, and market the profession instead of just depending on Abuja alone. So it's going to be, not just from one sector. There are many things that we have to be done. It's going to be pluralistic so that we will market ourselves that way. Thank you.
Very well. I will ask the second question. You see, no one, I think the president have just said that one. No one profession know it all. One of the problems we have with Nigerian, and that's why the foreigners come here to take everything, is because we are into what I call land grabbing. But for the profession of landscape architecture, there's what we call practice without borders. In other words, you need other people to join you in some basic consultancy. In restoration, for example, in bioremediation, a lot of people are there who, whether you were using bacteria, whatever it is, to do the bioremediation, before you bring in the plant expert there, before you bring the people on the social there, that is their job. In other words, if you must do chemical remodeling of, for example, a polluted mine area, then there are some people who are good at it, and let them come and you invite them. Then you do your own. That's what I will put it. I have a question here. No, is it a chat? I have a chat here from, okay, it's just greeting us from Memona, Dr. Memona Saleh saying hello, everybody. And another question here, Toby Loba, is it what are,
Toby.
Yeah, is it what are the possible low-hanging fruits that as individual landscape that we can be doing to meet the ecological restoration target? Now, what he's saying is this: what can we do? It's not saying you should go and pluck somebody else's mango before they cut off your hand through Sharia. What he's saying is that, what can we be doing? The first thing you will do is understand the philosophy of the ecologist, especially within the context of landscape ecology. Because when you get this, because you must understand what they are into before you can restore. In other words, go back and read. Go online, download some little things, pay some little money for MOCC. And that's why we are bringing this one out. I know that very good MOCC now is about $100. It's a lot of money for us in Nigeria now. It's about 47,000 naira. Some are $50, which is about 27, 28. Like I told them, we got how to do MOCC on this area, which we have done. That will be about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 naira. That one is affordable. Then and get this. But if you can afford the MOCC, go online. There are many to UNESCO. There are many of the many organizations that write similar thing. China through the UNESCO, they will give you certificate. Of course, this one too that we are doing will give certificate, but often it's not. It can't be less than about, even for $10. Well, you have to pay something now. That is it. But You need money to upgrade yourself. You've left school for how many years ago? What you were taught 20 years ago is what is in your head. Who do you want to consult for? It doesn't go that way. Because 20 years ago, Oguniva was not misbehaving like this. You must find out why is he misbehaving. 20 years ago, nobody has said that that part of the thing that will be restored is sacred landscape until International Union for Nature Conservation started it in 2010, 2011. Question is, what is the sacredness? And those are the things I'm talking about. So let's get another question. Anybody want to ask question or contribution or discussion?
Let's
see your hand.
Dr. Tuji,
yeah,
have we?
So, yeah.
Toby's question, has it been cleared?
Well, is that what are the possible low-hanging fruit? That is, what can they be doing now as individual landscape architect that we can be doing to meet the ecological restoration target? And I say, the first thing is go and equip yourself. The Chinese have been doing this one in the last 20 years and they have perfected it. Know the way they define the water courses. Get some simple landscape ecology, read it. And I say, download and read. Invest some little money in MOCC. And I said, we are in a position here, we have some MOCC in the same area, which will be out very soon if you pay, even for your students. I think it wants to raise up, somebody raise up hand, Oluwaseun Yisao. Yes, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, I want to ask a question based on agricultural landscape. Looking at the damage that have been done to our national agricultural landscape,
yes,
and the continuous increase in our population,
yes,
then the farmers are striving, trying to still meet up with the need, the food of the populace, and thereby they continue using the chemicals. Now, how do we convince these people to stop these chemicals use? Because several times I've met them and tell them that you can actually produce. They said all this land, they are no longer fertile, that the only way they can actually go is to actually apply fertilizer to make all these things work out. So how do we start the campaign to stop the use of agrochemicals in all our agricultural
Thank you.
landscapes?
Well, you say, how do we stop the campaign? You can't stop, but again, if you don't redefine the policies, and the policy should be what I would classify as eco-agriculture, mixing ecosystem and agriculture. That have been what people are mixing these days. In other words, within the agric area, plant some trees, bring in bees and all those pollinations. Plant some cowpeas that will regenerate. People in agric, they know better than I do. But the first thing is via policy. And the policy should be from the federal. That yes, we'll be doing slash and burn. We now have a policy on eco-agriculture. Before you now start saying that you want to go and be doing, you want to go there and be doing that. You can't sell there because I told you before that when we were growing up, fallow land was 7 years. Now it's 3 years. If possible, now annually the same land. Because population is increasing. Then, and I said there must be alternative agric system. Climate smart agric. It's an agric that will be intensive. There must be some level of investment there. It's an agric that is not rain-fed, so to speak. It's an agric that is based on some means of irrigation. I know they are promoting Fadama, but Fadama again depends upon when the water has gone down. So Fadama farmers and the pastoralists are fighting upon green rainy season. The people that have their their cattle, they are fighting the farmers in the floodplains. There must be policy. And the policy will come if they know, if we remember, we signed 2015 SDG, 2016 New Urban Agenda, the about 2 or 3 biodiversity, about 2 or 3 climate change protocol. Then we must come back home now and domesticate it and redefine. I don't know if I answered your question. If not, when if you see me another time after I've gone to read, I can answer your question. That's the best I can say right now. Any other person?
Yeah, can I come in there?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, okay. I like the question that the young landscape architect asked. Diversification of landscape practices is captured in what he has, the question he asked. The question he asked will also help, if we come with good answer, it will help to tame the population. And we all will remember that not only that the population is growing, but the landmass of Nigeria is diminishing through climate change impact. And how do we take care of that? And what is very key in loss of agricultural land is in soil degradation. Every part of the Nigerian landscape soil is degraded, and it is degraded. That's why you have desertification in the upper region, the savanna region, and so the soil is caking, okay? Because there has been this practice conflict. You use temperate climate chemicals to now practice agriculture, in mechanized form, in tropical environment. And for a very long time with irrigation and all that, it has really dealt with our soil. And that is the problem in this restoration thing is, how do we restore the agricultural land so that our people can be cropping without fertilizer? And it is very simple. We should look into the area of restoring the soil, which is basic. If what we are discussing is very, very useful, we should now mingle with soil people, soil scientists, soil professionals, to see how we can use all that amount of biodeposits in our septic tanks, in every places. Like somebody came out with a very interesting tip, desilting the canal, the Lake Chad, desilting Lake Chad, and using the debris, the product, to now rejuvenate our soil. And it's the best thing that could happen. And in the same way, we have the tons and tons of sludge, in urban areas. Why don't we now dislodge this, get a technology, our own local technology that will dislodge and everybody wants to remove the sludge, empty it, and continue. Then we begin to, have a local technology that will construct the trucks and the trails that will now begin to spread, take from zone to zone, particularly in the desertified areas. And by the time you know it, we are using what we have created as waste to enrich our soil. And by the time you know it, we are back to our people using the soil that they abandoned. So that is the area I want to come in for the young man, and I think we can do it.
That's right. Yes, we can do it. Well, let's get questions and comment. Every question is good for us to learn. It's
Right.
not. It may not be even now. When you ask, when you are in a place like this, you ask questions. The one we can answer, we've answered you. The one we cannot answer, I've told you, consult the Google, which is the Oracle. And if you see us tomorrow, if we consult you, we tell you, well, this is what I think is wrong. We'll be able to do so. Okay, it's nice for you to come up and let's see how this thing will be. See what it is. Ask your question, make your comment. That's what this thing is all about, for us to make comment, to ask questions,
right.
make comment, for us to know. In other words, we must create a mental, a subconscious awareness that if Nigeria should achieve the 2030 goal, SDG goal, they need ecological restoration to achieve it. First of all, it will be inside of us, and after that one, then we'll be able to. Because if you do not convince yourself, how do you go to a ministry to say, well, this is what you want? You must convince yourself first. So let's ask the question or the comments. Thank you. Dr. Memuna is with us. Nice, good.
Yeah.
I can say, I can see. Hello, dear madam. Good.
Hello, hello everyone. I'm sorry I came in a little bit.
We know.
So I don't know how much has been covered, but I would like to say that first of all, everybody that is present here, especially our young colleagues, should see themselves as future leaders, in the profession. So all these policies, all these things, we have to do it together. So one easy way to do that is to try to key into the working groups, of the International Federation of Landscape Architects. There has been a lot of questions now on agriculture. There's a new working group, the Agricultural Landscape Working Group. It's just new, it's just starting. So you can just go online and try to register as a non-voting member. You'll be very, you will get to know, what is happening around the world and how you can have a voice, and it keeps you informed. And then you can also make contribution on what is happening, in your country. And it's collaboration and sharing knowledge and moving further. And I would like to advise everybody that is here and even those who are not here, that we all have to work together. So it's not like maybe it's Professor Tunji or the president or, that will be giving us answers. We are all going to play a very, very active role. We went into landscape education to build capacity, and you are part of the capacity. So we don't expect you to just sit down and wait for answers from us. We expect that, like the chapters, that will be very functional. We expect you to key into a lot is happening in landscape national associations all over the world. All these webinars, even if you are not able to participate live, you can get a recording, equip yourself and be very knowledgeable. And choose a, what do you call it, where you want to belong. Do you want to belong into maybe collaborative planning like me, for example? If you notice, I've been doing a lot of things on how we can, the methodology we can use to read landscapes and to plan landscapes, or do you want to go into something more specific? So it's just as Prof said, you have to find yourself a niche. And you have to key into different knowledge groups, to really understand what is happening. And they also help you to articulate yourself properly. So mine is just like a contribution to saying that all of us in this forum are all part of the solution.
That's right.
So we are a team, we all work together. We're all part of the solution, So when we maybe I don't know what has transpired before I came in. I'm sorry again, I came in late, but I know that maybe I'll make a presentation. Maybe Mr. President will make a presentation. 1 or 2 or 3 of you two will make presentations.
Exactly.
Yeah, so please, especially the chapters, we have not been hearing from you. You have been quiet, and sometimes I feel a little bit overworked. You want to do education, you want to direct policy, so you have to really come on board now. We want to feel your presence, not just in asking questions, but also in joining other organizations and seeing what is being done and making a contribution. So anyway, let me not keep repeating myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Lua Shegun wants to ask question. After that one, I will come to Victor Ayela Bola. Yes, Mr. Esson, go ahead.
Thank you, Prof, for such a brilliant presentation.
Unmute yourself.
On this restoration campaign, and emphasis has been.
You should be louder.
The so-called landscape architects. But Prof, sir, how do you cover or make it more encompassing for all other professions in the built environment? Because I realize this is not all about the landscape architects, but rather about all professionals in the built environment. And when we look at those who are in attendance, there are more of landscape architects. How and what manner are you going to do it in such a way that this will be benefit to all as sundry? Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's what I said before, that for us, I want to say no. There are many people here who are architects. That were here before they left. There are people who are from biodiversity, and I know you are from urban planner, urban designer. That's good enough. As I said, the landscape architecture profession believe in what we call practice without border. But we are not land grabbing, even on the international platform. It's not a land grabbing profession. We do know that there are other extant professions that we normally call them input consultant. Take for example, if there's no way you want to do an environmental impact assessment of mining, for example, that you can do it alone. Any environmental impact assessment expect at least about 10, 15, about 7, 10 professionals. You need some people in chemistry and toxicologists. You need some hydrobiologists. You need some mineralogy. So it is there. We do not claim to be one. And you should understand again, for us in landscape architecture, those people in planning too, we meet on the problem of regional planning. All right? And all the regional planning, or master planning too. And the policy as there. So, and that's the only way it is that a lot of other professionals are accommodated as time goes on. If you look at for the international platform, you will see for IFLA conferences, a lot of them there are architects. They come for permaculture. A lot of them are planners. A lot of people there are ecologists. And I've been privileged to be in the Union of International Architect Conference there. A lot of people there too are professional. It's only in Nigeria that we build wall. And that's because we turn professionalism into chieftaincy title. That's why we give ourselves ARC, TPL, Savio. It's a mad thing. You see, we build wall, engine or engineer or whatever it is. It is that madness. It's not so in other places. All right. So that is it. I have 2 questions here. One from Victor. Ayela Bola. Are you ready for us, Victor? Is it still there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Ask your question, Victor.
Yeah, I already posted it. It's on the chat.
Okay. So, is it believed believe it requires knowledge of local biodiversity and history of the area in order to decide with the same framework. Where can the information be acquired if the oracle isn't forthcoming? Okay, furthermore, what maintenance model will work for this type of endeavor, considering the monetary value is it outlined to ensure that it is sustainable? Now, what he's asking is this. He has two questions. Victor is asking that if you go to consult the oracle, which is Google, and you do not have it, where do you get information? But first of all, he's saying that this thing requires knowledge of local biodiversity and history of the area. You are very right. I must say, I thought when I started, there are a lot of biodiversity centers in our university. I know there's a department in Federal Ministry of Environment that's centered on biodiversity. I know that there's Federal Research Institute, Forest Research Institute, is called FRIN, is at Ibadan. Samaru has one. So those are the avenues who have been operating on a local scale. What has not been done is to bring it together like one. So it's your responsibility. Of course, every consultant have to study before you had a job. You must look for what you are looking for. It's not like a consultant is a person doing research, whether it's MSc or MPhil or PhD. You must know what you want to do before you go. So you don't want to go and get a job, for example, if it is climate change, and you even want to map the flood area of Niger State or Jigawa State. You must be able to go over there now and interact with the people. Where's the length? Where got flooded last? What vegetation there? How do you? So what I'm trying to say is that it's your responsibility to look for those before you start doing the mapping. But you are now saying, where can this information be acquired if Oracle isn't forthcoming? Research centers, and I've told you, research centers and simple online short courses. And some of us might be available to allow you to know when the time comes. Another question comes from John Adekunle Adesina. How can we carry the allied professionals along in the restoration strides? Well, I want to say first, restoration on this UN platform is actually came through ecologists. Each profession is supposed to key into it. All right? Some of you went to Ghana during the Global Landscape Summit. Is that also? You went to Ghana. You met there ecologists, foresters, NGO, various organizations, landscape architects who are neck deep in permaculture, agricultural experts. It's the responsibility of each profession to look at that area of biodiversity and see what he can do. If architect is interested, for example, in a roof garden or an atrium,
All right.
it's his responsibility to design an atrium. It's a responsibility to get his engineer to run the piping system. It's a responsibility to retain the landscape architect, whose responsibility is it to consult the plant person and to look at the plant that can survive there. So that is what the thing is all about. So I cannot talk for other professions. We can only talk here. For in this same thing, what's it called? Ecologists are there and they are working. Thank you. Any other question? In the next 2 minutes, we'll be able to.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Tunji, my
Yeah.
battery is gone. Maybe
Yeah.
I want to add in something to what the previous question said about where to find information on biodiversity, which you have covered relatively. But I would say that if you have if you're consulting on a regional development issue, a regional planning issue, you just don't depend on very much on other people's. All you need is the information, the data, but you have to, like you said, go to the field. Go to the field and conduct ecological study of the area. That is the thing that will now add to what you may get or what you may not get from the other sources, because your interest, I tell you truly that your interest that will help you solve that problem effectively, ecological problem effectively.
Well, his battery is gone. I think we should be rounding up right now. He has said that the battery is gone. I want to appreciate your presence here today, and Tubiloba is here, the PRO, and other people in SLAN executive is here. They will get back to you the next series. This is series 1, and I want to appreciate your presence. I want to say bye-bye. God bless you all. Thank you.